Hi there crafters, Louise with you today. Welcome along to my final share for Kitaholic Kits for the month of February. What are you going to do with cards and envelopes if you are not a card maker? So I'm not a card maker. I love seeing other cards that, card makers can just produce the most beautiful handmade products, but it is not for me. I've tried my hand at cards. I don't enjoy it. So when I was looking through my kit, and again, I'm trying every month to give you some new way that you can use the elements in the kit in different ways. If you may not be a card maker like me, here is a little way that you can use the cards and the envelopes in this month's kit to put together something a little bit different. So what I'm doing is I'm actually turning them into a miniature album. So you can see that I have joined the envelopes together and I have then laid everything on top of each other, poked some holes in the middle, and I'm actually just going to hand stitch this with the twine that we got in this month's kit. So I have done this multiple times in the past. It used to be called kind of like a junk journal, so you could take leftover pattern papers and bits and pieces from your stash, put some holes in the middle, stitch them together and make yourself a little journal book. So I wouldn't recommend doing this with too many layers because it will get quite thick and it makes it harder to stitch and that sort of thing. But in this case, these few little layers are definitely enough that what I'm going to be able to do is to make a multi-photo page in this little booklet on a single layout. So I had lots of fun with this. I hope that you will actually have a crack at this. I would love to see if some of you guys that are kit subscribers would actually have a go at this because it really was fun. I just had the best time and it makes for a really interesting type of layout. Now, because I am mostly going to fill this, I am leaving just a few little bits of the twine and I'm going to tie those into some bows in the front and back. So I end up with a bit of a knot here. So with that knot, I just turn it into a bow, trim the little edges and do the same thing on the other side. Apologies that you can't see some of this. When you have the film going on above you, it's hard to know what's in the camera and what's not. But eventually you can see that I've made this tiny little album and it's time to decorate. So I pulled through a stash of photos and I had to come up with some photos in a series. So I have these ones from Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's actually, some really great photos. I think they're so adorable, and they have been sitting in my stash because I haven't had the right either collection or idea or something that I wanted to do with these photos. And so this was the perfect time to pull them out. Now that I've made my little album and I've chosen my photos, I'm just doing a quick measurement to see what size I should actually cut my background papers, and they actually end up being really close to a 4x6. So you get quite a bit of value out of the pattern papers that you're using and the embellishments. So this little mini album, really great fun. As you can see, I'm back to using a little bit of tacky glue because this is going to be quite textured. I want it to last, so I really want to get the best adhesion that I can. All right, so I've used a little rainbow paper. This is actually one of my favorite papers. I wish there was more of them because I'd really like to use them on an actual scrapbook background. But I don't know. This particular idea, I think it's probably one of the best I've had in a little while. I may have been struggling a little bit with Mojo. So I hope that you really enjoy this little miniature album. I'm actually going to fill some of it off camera. So if I had recorded the filling of the whole project, this would have been like an hour-long video, and I don't even know if I can talk for an hour. So I am going to decorate some of it off camera, but I wanted to show you just a few little bits and pieces about how I'm putting this particular, what I'm calling a mini album together. Now, one of the things I love about this sort of idea with this mini album is making it quite textural. So you can see that I'm leaving the overhang of that floral cluster embellishment hanging over the side. And I do that on purpose because when you have things confined in that sort of square, you lose a little bit of that texture. So I really wanted to have this be quite textural and quite interactive. So again, hidden little journaling card embellishment in that envelope. I mean, you could pop a photo in here. You could pop, like in this case, it's a Christmas. So if your kids are doing letters to Santa or that sort of thing, there are so many little items that you could pop into one of these. This would be great for travel. You know, if you'd gone somewhere and you had ticket stubs or, you know, there were things that you'd collected along your way, the envelopes would be a great way to actually store them on a scrapbook layout. You wouldn't see them all the time, but that memory would be there. So I love this little envelope idea, and I hope that you're inspired to have a go at something like this because it really was such fun to create, and I think that if you had a go, you'd really enjoy the process and have something that you really loved at the end of it. All right, so I'm doing a little cluster embellishment over on that left-hand side. I'm going to pop some journaling into there. I've got a photo that happened to be taken at just the right time with Master Cooper opening his mouth in awe, like, oh my God, really? This is what you bought me, Mum? I didn't remember what it was. I'm sure it was like bed sheets or something, but he is absolutely mad about Grogu. So if you've never watched The Mandalorian, Grogu is Baby Yoda, little green guy. He is pretty cute, to be fair. But he just, anything Star Wars, Cooper just loves. So I tend to, if I find something with Grogu or Star Wars on it, whether it be bed sheets or, you know, a mug or whatever I can find, I buy. So I know he'll love it either way, and the smile on his face says it all. Now, making this little miniature album is also a really great way to get through some of this month's kit. So if you haven't already heard, I'm on a bit of a killer kit. So what I'm doing is working, getting as many layouts done from a kit as I can. Last month, I managed to get a total of 12. I can't remember if it was 10 or 12. Yes, but I got a significant amount of layouts done. So that was really quite impressive for me, because normally I will do my 4 design team layouts, a couple of subby exclusive projects, and then I might actually pop the kit away until a later stage. All right, here's where I pause the video and I go off and put together the rest of this little album. You can see I've got some tag clusters, lots of photos, stickers that I've used. I have got a gap at the end where I haven't actually put anything into that last little spot, but for me, I didn't think it needed it. I was quite happy with the amount of embellishing and items that I got in there, so I left it as it was. Now, you could keep the miniature album separate if you wanted to, pardon me, but I actually wanted to put it on a layout. My apologies, I have a little tickle in my throat. So I actually wanted to put the miniature album on a layout. So I'm going to, again, do the 9x12, and I'm going to pop this in Master Cooper's album of his life. I'm using pattern papers to make a base to put this on, trimming it with black to make it stand out a little bit. Lots of adhesive for this one because, again, there's a lot of weight in the front of that, so making sure that it's going to stick down. And of course, it will be quite bulky in the album, but because I'm using A4 display folders to store these in, it's not for me a big problem. You know, if I fill up one display folder, I just go and buy another one. Now, I am straying from my starting at the top and working my way down in the titles, but the title that I had didn't work, so I had to get a bit creative and come up with one that would work. So I'm going with Loving This Memory, and I'm not much of a central kind of scrapper. I like things sort of off-center, but because I had that layout, that little mini album in the center, title at the center of the bottom, I felt like I just needed something little at the top. So I'm making this little banner, adding a little bit of black to tie it all together. And then off camera, I'm going to stick my title down. So that's my little miniature album. I really had the best fun with this. So I hope that you have also enjoyed it as well. And thank you for watching.